Hey, what's good, lads? So it is UFC 319 Fight Week. We're officially here, the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm going to be breaking down this overall fight week, the Paramount deal, the press conference that just happened as well. I'm just going to be giving a quick recap of that. But then we're going to be getting on to business, dude. This Volkanovski title shot, it's fucking, it's a debacle. It's a problem. It's a problem. But yeah, real quick, I'm gonna just summarize the press conference. A little bit disappointing. I mean, I expected DDP to return fire after the Hamza comment about Africa not seeing the belt again. That comment actually goes kind of deep, Adesanya, former title holder of the middleweight belt as well. Dricus obviously now, yeah, pretty good line by Chimaev. I kind of wanted DDP to go in on that one on him a bit more. Um, Kai Sakura doesn't get a single question in the press conference, despite Tim Elliott getting one. What the fuck, guys? Kai Sakura actually probably could have said something. Then you had Carlos Prates, Jeff Neal kind of just being Sakayev just randomly being there. Um, I guess it was kind of cool. Him and Hamza being up on stage. Apart from that, MVP has a cool moment at the end. Cannonier doesn't respond. What the fuck, dude? Can we please hype up the fight? I mean, dude, what else happened? Oh yeah, Aaron Pico just like not being entertaining at all. This guy literally is just an NPC. But yeah, let's get on to the actual video, dude. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Aaron Pico propaganda in the recent. This reminds me a lot of like kind of the O'Malley propaganda when people were just hyping up the fact that he is like locked in or whatever. But dude, I swear the UFC is pushing this like Aaron Pico title shot thing pretty fucking hard. And yeah, bro, like look at this shit. Nina Drama, Aaron Pico, UFC's new stuff. Bro, this guy literally hasn't like shown anything. You know what I mean? Like this guy's zero star quality so far, other than the fact he like wears a suit. We'll get onto that. But should Aaron Pico fight Alexander Volkanovski for the title? Like, bro, this is on a Nina Drama like thumbnail, bro. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And then Lauren Murphy beating Aaron Pico. Like, I swear, who made it so that these Bellator fighters, you beat them and you just get a number one contenders fight? You know what I mean? Like Mario Batista should be like Merab's next opponent using this logic. And but dude, Mario Bautista was actually like a champion in PFL / Bellator. Like Pico was never. He's like on a 2 fight win streak. Never was a champion. He was like a 5 through 10 guy. You know what I mean? Like the fuck? I don't get it. And yeah, dude. Like they're even like creating fake beef between Pico and Volk right now. Like, dude, Volk, don't even entertain this bullshit, dude. Like, what are you doing? I mean, Pico responds to Alexander Volkanovski with "Your time is coming." And I'm pretty sure there was like a clip of him like saying that he would knock out Volk and that Volk's never fought someone with the level of wrestling. Like, bro, you don't have a single win in the fucking UFC. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's disrespectful, bro. You know what I mean? Like, man, Volkanovski's fucking beaten the who's who at featherweight. I mean, you're talking about wins over rising prospect Diego Lopez, legend of the sport Max Holloway 3 times, 3 times. Brian Ortega, who I'd argue who has way better grappling than Aaron Pico, obviously. Jose Aldo, another legend of the sport. Yair, Chad Mendes, and he's only lost to guys like Ilia Topuria and Islam, who both have better wrestling than Pico, by the way. And Islam and Volk was actually able to fend off the wrestling of Islam as well. Meanwhile, dude, like this is like legendary shit, right? Bro, Pico's wins against like the local fucking guy you'll see at your fucking family barbecue, dude, or like your Uber. I mean, this guy's kind of horrifying, but like you know what I mean. And then his losses, dude, he's like losing to like the local boxing coach, man. Like, I'm obviously like joking in a sense, but you know what I mean? Like, there's just no comparison. This is just disrespect. I mean, you know, fuck Aaron Pico. Yeah, there was also like a moment in the press conference when uh, they were trying to ask Aaron Pico a question, and the crowd just kept booing. Like, yeah, fuck Aaron Pico. I don't know. This guy's just a massive industry plant, dude. I mean, I don't know why the UFC likes this guy. He just gives major Bo Nickel vibes, getting these massive spots on cards. He's like an all-American dude, American wrestler. Like, I don't know what it is with him that the UFC is just immediately putting him in such big spots, but I don't know, dude. There's just something about him. He kind of has the like Conor McGregor build, I guess. You can kind of see it, like I don't know when you kind of see it up close. You can't, but you know, I mean, he kind of has like this like star build, you know. And I don't know the fact that he wears like suits. I mean, it is kind of fresh, but yeah, dude, I feel like the UFC just sees like some bullshit with this guy. Yeah, and then I don't know. This guy also gives like major Michael Chandler vibes, like you know, company man type shit. Like, I don't know, something weird about Pico. But yeah, maybe it runs deeper than we imagine. But you know, like this is ultimately what UFC fans want to see, right? UFC 322, Alex Volkanovski, Movsar Evloev, co-main. This like I want to really push home that this is actually a hype fight, dude. Aaron Pico, like this is ultimately the dream scenario, right? The UFC clearly doesn't see this. I mean, and just overall as a deserving title shot, like what? Aaron Pico would be ranked like number six with one win over Lerone Murphy come Sunday. Like, I mean, just look at this for yourself, guys. You have Movsar Evloev win over Aljamain Sterling in his last fight. That, in my opinion, already more valuable win than a Lerone Murphy win, right? Arnold Allen also more valuable than a Lerone Murphy win. Diego Lopez, bit of a tadpole, but you know, and then Dan Ige, which is one of Lerone Murphy's best wins. So we're not even going to talk about yeah. I mean, I just put him there because, but yeah, bro. I feel like it would just be so incredibly unceremonious if Volk was to get either of these two as his next opponent. I mean, the Movsar Evloev fight, dude, it'd be like a generational hate watch. You know what I mean? Best editor on YouTube. But yeah, bro, this is a fucking dream scenario. Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev, Volkanovski, Evloev. Makes so much sense. Generational hate watch. You have Australia versus Russia in Madison Square Garden. You know, it'd be hype. It'd be hype. Um, yeah, and yeah, I feel like even as just a stylistic matchup, dude, you have obviously Lucas Tracy's talked about this a lot, but you have a guy in Volkanovski who's just one of the most skilled fighters, and overall, if you like can't finish him, you're kind of screwed. And you know, Evloev's not a finished guy. This would be just a generational hate watch. Um, yeah, and it's literally like Volk versus Islam number two. Like, yeah, this is the worst version of Islam who can't finish you. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much hype behind this one, and it adds so much to Volkanovski's legacy too, to be able to beat a guy like Evloev who's undefeated and has legitimate good wins against like former champions and staples like Arnold Allen. Like, this would mean a lot. And it would have a lot of fanfare because of how much of a hate watch it is. Um, in terms of how it would go. Yeah. But dude, just look at this bullshit. I get the feeling that Volkanovski's probably gonna headline that December card because I feel like the UFC's probably gonna save Ilia Topuria for January when that Paramount deal starts anyway. But I mean, bro, just look at this fucking headline. Like, look how uncer like I want to throw up just looking at this shit. But Lauren Murphy has a total of like two fans, which includes like his mother and Leon Edwards. You know what I mean? Like this guy's literally like Leon Edwards without the head kick. Like, oh my gosh, literally boring decision merchant. Literally the exact same fighter, pretty much. And he literally just doesn't have the head kick, headshot dead thing. It's literally just Leon Edwards. So yeah, this would just be so incredibly unceremonious. Um, yeah, and it wouldn't even add much to Volkanovski's legacy as well. Like, yeah, Laura Murphy is a undefeated prospect, but his best win is Josh Emmett. Realistically, and I know that Ilias was too, but dude, Laura Murphy doesn't have the same hype as Ilya at all. And apart from that, he's like a 34-year-old prospect at this point. Like, this guy's literally going to be fighting the 35-year-old curse with Volk. So, yeah, just absolutely cooked headline. And, but Aaron Pico, you're not the same. You might be worse, buddy, because, yeah, dude, we don't want to see this shit headlining UFC 323. And to be fair, they could, like, back it up with, like, a Josh Van, Alejandro Pantoja co-main and make it somewhat strong. But, I mean, dude, just look at this headline. I don't want to see this shit on a poster, all right? I don't give a fuck how good the knockout's going to be that Aaron Pico or Lauren Murphy gets. I think Lauren Murphy's going to school him. But I don't give a fuck how good the finish is, if there even is one. This is just shit, you know? Like, yes, Movsar doesn't have any finishes, but it's the overall, like, fact that he's a, like, not Dagestani, Ingushetian wrestler, like, Russian wrestler, the brother style, that, and he's undefeated. That just adds so much to Volkanovski's legacy. And, I mean, just, bro, what the fuck would this add? And this is so unceremonious as well. No hype at all. Like, yeah, this is just ass. And I mean, I highly doubt that either of these two could beat Volkanovski anyway. I think that like about the same would happen to like a lot of Volkanovski's opponents as it would to Pico and Murphy. You know what I mean? But dude, there's also even the chance that Pico just gets a KO on Volkanovski, and how fucking shit of a reality would that be? Volkanovski, he comes back, breaks the 35-year-old curse, and then he gets his belt taken away by Lerone Murphy or Aaron fucking Pico. You know what I mean? So I don't know, dude. It's just a real shit in every single way. Even if Movsar was to win, you get like a new hate watch of a champion. To be fair, it is a scary reality because Movsar could hold onto that belt for fucking ages. But what's worse is we get Pico take the belt off Volk or Murphy, and then they just get beaten by Movsar because they obviously would. Um, Volk actually, I think, beats Movsar. These two, I don't know about that. But yeah, dude, that's why we overall just need Movsar to get the next title shot. I mean, obviously he hasn't had like the obvious number one contender fight that a lot of people have, like Diego Lopez had against Ortega. Movsar doesn't have like this clear number one contender fight yet, which is why I assume they booked that Pico fight. But he's way more deserving than everyone else in the conversation. There's no one really deserving at featherweight, but if there is someone who should get the next title shot, it just has to be Evlov. And I mean, the alternatives aren't great, dude. I mean, let's let's actually go back to it. Like this is this is the potential headliner, by the way, or this. Yeah, I prefer this, to be honest. Well, this is the best case scenario. Like, yeah, dude. But moving on, dude. Let's cover the Paramount deal. And also, I would like to preface, Laura Murphy should win this fight. Against Pico. He's actually a pretty big underdog, surprisingly, but yeah, like I'm pretty on board with this whole narrative that these Bellator fighters just come over into the UFC and they can't really do much because the output and level of fights over there is just way lower and the pressure as well. And I mean Aaron Pico's getting straight into like a number one contender fight as well. It just makes sense that Laura Murphy will get this done in so many ways. And dude, I was literally picking Mario Bautista to school Patchy Mix in the lead up to that fight. But then I heard like rumblings that Patchy Mix actually has had like training with like guys like Marab and stuff. That's honestly what swayed me. And also like he was kind of aura maxing during the press conference as well, you know what I mean? So yeah, that swayed my opinion on that fight, and I ended up looking like an absolute fool. And Lucas Tracer was correct, but yeah, it would just make no sense if Pico was to get this win. Um, Laura Murphy should school him this weekend. I could look dumb though, but yeah, onto the Paramount deal, dude. Um, I actually really like this for the UFC. Obviously, $7.7 billion deal over 7 years, way better than the ESPN one in terms of money, 1.5 over five. So yeah, good money for the UFC. Um, and overall, dude, I actually quite like the partnership in terms of the overall sport. Obviously, the UFC could maybe get complacent with the money they already have, but yeah, in terms of like how they distribute that money, I'd like to see more promotion out of the company, please, for fuck's sake, please more promotion. In terms of fighter pay, I'd say honestly, I don't even care about the base rate for fighters. I'd honestly kind of maybe keep it the same. Purely because these guys are like way too inactive already. I feel like if you up the base pay, it may make them even more. I think there needs to be an incentive for fighters to get in the cage more often. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe increasing the base pay would make them come more, but also at the same time, it will make them sit on their money for a lot longer. So I don't know. But yeah, I think overall increase the activity for fighters. Maybe make it an make that an incentive for them to fight more than once a year, probably. Like maybe if you fight a second time in the year, then you get extra pay for that, I'd say. Or make there an incentive to be like number one contender fights. Like you get extra for a number one contender fight, something like that. I'd say there needs to be an incentive for that shit, bro, because there are way too many title challenges nowadays that just sit on their rankings and kind of just wait for the champion to come around to them. Like it just makes it so that the title fights are less hype in general, and the challenges just have less fanfare around them. So yeah, I'd say definitely center the base pay around getting contenders more active, sure. Um, but I think they should honestly increase the bonuses because it's going to make it so that these boring fucks like Movsar Evlev um, have an incentive to actually, get finishes. And also, it's going to make it so that these hyped prospects actually get proper money behind them. And you get like more Malcolm well makers who, get proper finishes and, they get big money. They're able to quit their jobs like very early on in their careers. So, yeah, I'd say for sure increase the bonuses, hopefully 100K. Um, with how much more money the UFC has now, I'm sure that should be a possibility. 100K bonuses. Um, maybe give more out to Fight of the Night as well. 100K, 100K. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the best way to go about it. In terms of like how they're gonna distribute the pay, obviously you had pay-per-view scarings before, but yeah, dude, I'd say probably sorry about that, guys. Yeah, overall, in terms of how they distribute the fighter pay, I think maybe they could pay attention to the viewer count at every single point of the fight night card. Obviously, women's uh pay would drop massively, but the game's the game, bro. You know, but I think it could also present some issues because I feel like a guy like the viewership on like a guy like uh for Rodolfo Vieira versus an Arnold Allen honestly probably wouldn't be too much because the average UFC fan at this point is like a hardcore fan anyway. So yeah, maybe you get issues like that, but I feel like maybe pay more if they're in the rankings or like just outside the rankings. Maybe something like that. Maybe you could get like just overall just contract boost with each fight anyway, like they used to have. But yeah, in terms of fighter pay, dude, I don't think it should increase by much. Maybe make it so there's more of an incentive to be active as a fighter, is what I'd say. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting how they handle that. And obviously, champions should just get like way more, obviously. But yeah, in terms of Paramount itself, dude, I think it's a really good. I think it's a way better platform than ESPN. I mean, ESPN, they just have like a bunch of other sports that on there. Um, that realistically, UFC is just like another one of the sports that they have. I feel like Paramount's gonna prioritize UFC way more. Obviously ESPN, they love to promote their stupid ass basketball. Fuck basketball, but yeah, dude, on Paramount, it's pretty much just Champions League, which is like soccer, and South Park. I think that's really good for the UFC. I mean, you know, as someone who is a generational hater of uh football, dude, we're gonna steal some fucking football fans, dude. I mean, let's be real, dude. What would you prefer to watch? Some stupid fucking kicking around a soccer ball, and then the game possibly ending 0-0 or like 1-1. Meanwhile, the crowd is so fucking bored that they have to create chants in order to entertain themselves. Or would you watch like UFC where there's like shit happening at every single point? You know what I mean? Like, so we are gonna be stealing some football fans, especially with a guy like Ilya. You know what I mean? Spain, it's a no-brainer. I think that's gonna be good for the UFC. Well, let's fucking steal some of these guys. These guys don't know what entertainment is if it hit them right in the fucking face. You know what I'm saying? It will. So yeah, we're gonna steal some of their fans. And in terms of like the other stuff you can see on Paramount, dude, I think that there are quite a few people that have Paramount subscriptions that just watch things like South Park, they'll have like Sonic or some shit on there. So yeah, dude, you're gonna be getting like average Joes who just like watch TV shows, and they're gonna be having access to UFC. It's gonna be like the main thing on Paramount. It's gonna be displayed pretty loud and clear, I hope. And yeah, I think we're gonna get quite a few fan turnout from that as well. So yeah, overall Paramount, I think it's really good for the OC as well. It's actually gonna, I think it's gonna be a bigger spotlight for them than ESPN that loves the DEI basketball promotions. But yeah, and also they do cricket and shit like, dude. So. But yeah, in terms of the last thing I wanted to touch on, dude, we also have the Apex expansion, and I actually largely agree with Bedtime MMA's sentiment on this. I think if you were to increase the crowd to 5K to 10K, can we please urge for 10K though? Um, I think if they were to increase the crowd to that, I think that pretty much solves every issue, dude. I think the result of it would be we get way better Apex cards. I still think you should like put majority of the women's fights on there purely because I don't really want those on pay-per-views. But like, yeah, I think the main events and co-main events for these Apex cards are gonna get way better with this expansion because they actually will need to sell tickets at that point. Um, but yeah, in terms of like everything else, I could actually see it hurting your general Fight Night cards. Um, it could also hurt the chances of those Fight Night cards going to places like let's say Australia or like or a Czech Republic or a Poland. I think it could hurt the chances of the OC going to those places purely because there's more of an incentive to be in the Apex. Um, and also, dude, with the CBN 4 events a year that are massive, I think the UFC already kind of does that in general. I mean, you have the this year you had the massive January card. That's probably going to be the same next year. You had the April card, Volkanovski headliner. That was pretty big too. Then you had the Ilya versus Charles. That was pretty big. And then you have the Abu Dhabi card. That's always big. I think they already kind of do that anyway. But I think with this new Paramount deal, we could honestly see the fall of some pay-per-views. I think we're going to be getting a lot more UFC 315s, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think Apex cards in general are going to get better. I think the 4 pay-per-views a year that are big are going to be really hype. But I think overall, the general fight nights are going to could fall in quality as well as the pay-per-views that aren't CBN, which will be great. But yeah, that was my overall thoughts on the fight week, what has been happening recently, and yeah, dude, If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And yeah, I will be recapping 319 after it happens. And yeah, also I would like to say for the main event of that, uh, if you haven't already, watch Bedtime's uh predictions for it. But yeah, I honestly could see the main event going how he described it. Pretty much like Usman versus Buckley, where Buckley was kind of trying to keep it on the feet. But yeah, Usman was just able to take him down and control him across the five. It could be that would honestly be a really unceremonious way for the fight to go. But I honestly really could see that happening. So yeah, just calling it now. But yeah, dude, apart from that, I'll see you next time for the actual breakdown. See what happens. And yeah, cheers.